I mean, for me, my mother's everything. I mean, I feel like I sound so childish saying that, but really she was, you know, a real activist and someone who really cared deeply about the continent because she had left her home country Somalia before the war, and then while she was in Canada saw it just fall apart, and her plan was to always go back, and she instilled kind of very early on in me and my siblings the importance of giving back, and she would talk about how beautiful Somalia was, and I want to see the Horn restore its beauty in that way. The people are amazing. If you've never had a chance to go to East Africa, please go. So I think, you know, for me, her stories and her passion really just kind of bled into everything that I do. And she actually introduced us to IFAD because she grew up in a rural community and she lived off the land, you know, and her stories aren't negative. People think rural people or people who have lives in the agricultural sector are having some kind of, you know, lifestyle they might not want or appreciate, but actually a pastoral lifestyle can be so beautiful for so many, and actually I feel I'm missing out being in an urban city. So, you know, she's a big part of what I do. And I think for Idris is...
It was my dad, you know. My dad worked at Ford Motor Company for a good 20 odd years. And, you know, just went in as someone that worked in the press shop, you know, pressing cars, but ended up in the union and fighting for rights like, you know, steel toe-capped boots and, you know, new uniforms. And I remember my dad wasn't getting paid extra money to be in the union. He just got such pride in fighting for those that didn't have a voice and, you know, going up against the guy, you know, and he was respected at Ford for fighting for union workers' rights. And I just remember my dad coming home and telling stories of this is what I told them, and it's important to have a voice and important. I was like, wow. I worked with my dad for about 2 years, and I was like, oh, I'm out. But, you know, as an actor and someone that lives in the public eye, we're privileged to be able to speak up. And so that's how my dad really sort of encouraged me to do that.
How has he impacted what you do now in every respect, do you think, your upbringing, Idris?
Yeah, I think, you know, my upbringing, I come from humble upbringing. My parents both came from West Africa. Left their villages, left, you know, to come to big dreams. And, you know, we grew up very modest, you know, and I'm an only child, and we still struggled, you know. So for me, as soon as I was able to work, I did, because my parents both worked. And I think I got my first job at 14, and I've worked different jobs. I know people know I do a lot of different things, and the reason I can do a lot of different things is because, you know, I wanted to fulfill what my parents couldn't in their dreams. I wanted to be like, okay, I'm going to buy you that lovely car one day and that lovely house, you know, and it really allows me, at my seat of privilege, is what I do now, to just remember where I've come from and where there are people there that would like to get here or would like to, you know, fight poverty and don't have a voice to do that. So that's what really sort of inspires me. And I have to say, Sabrina, you know, encouraged me to speak up a lot more, you know. She has an incredible passion. You know, if we walk past someone on the street that hasn't got much, she's always there, like, to help them, you know, try and give them some advice into what to do next. So I remember seeing that and thinking, you know what, perhaps I can use my voice even more. Now, I had been doing work like this, but it became more focused with Sabrina.